Welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to go over the pros and cons of being on a ketogenic diet. First, a disclaimer, I just want to say I'm not a doctor, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a nutritionist. However, I am in school studying nutrition, but I am not qualified yet. So these are just some of the things that helped me figure things out along the way over the course of a year, and I just wanted to share them with you. So with that being said, let's get started. Pro number one is fast weight loss. During the first month of the course of the year that I have been doing the ketogenic diet, I was dropping weight extremely fast. I dropped at least 15 pounds in the first month and a half due to water weight. And then every week after that, it was about 1 to 2 pounds. I lost a total of 85 pounds over the course of the year, and some weeks would be stagnant where I wouldn't lose any weight, but it was pretty continuous throughout the whole course of the year. That, compared to other diets I have been on in my past, was literally double the amount of weight loss in half the amount of time being on the ketogenic diet. So that is definitely a pro fast weight loss. Con number one is bloating. When I started the ketogenic diet, I definitely noticed a lot of bloating, and that actually had a lot to do with consuming too much dairy and meat products. You definitely want to make sure you're balancing that out and eating plenty fiber-rich foods, leafy green vegetables like kale, Swiss chard, spinach, and broccoli, and things like that. Keep in mind that for every 1 gram of carbohydrate that you consume is 2 to 3 grams of water weight that your body retains. Anytime you eat a carb, your body's going to hold on to a little bit of water. I try to stick to one meal with the majority of my carbs, and I'll usually have that as my first meal of the day. So if I get a little bloated, I can continue throughout the day drinking water and staying active, and that will definitely bring your stomach down. Divide your carbs up into the meals that you're eating throughout the day. That's fine too, whatever works for you. This is just something that worked for me, was just sticking to one meal of the majority of my carbs and keeping it at the beginning of the day. Pro number two is the type of food you get to eat. So this is one of the things that really just grabbed my attention with the ketogenic diet, was because it gave me more options. If my family wanted to have pancakes together on Sunday mornings, I could have pancakes, but I would just swap out the regular flour with the almond flour, and I would swap out the syrup with like reduced sugar whipped cream and some berries. And that would make me kind of feel like I'm a part of the gang still, and I don't have to cook something completely different. Able to have things like bacon and eggs and steak and chicken and all those things like that is awesome, because those are most of the foods that I like to eat anyways. And as long as I realize that I'm not having too many carbs, I just cut out the breads and the pastas and things like that, then I am good to go. But you just want to make sure you're not having too many of those things, because if you have too much of that stuff, it could cause stomach issues, and it could also go over your calories if you're not counting your macros properly. So just a tip, it is 0.8 grams of protein per kilo of body weight. Okay, so con number two is constipation. This sucks, but it does happen, and this also has to do with your fiber intake. Are you eating enough leafy green vegetables throughout your day? Are you eating too much dairy? Are you eating too much meat? So it all goes together with your macros as well. You just want to make sure that you're getting enough fiber in your diet so that you can avoid situations like this. And this also can happen because your body is changing and it's trying to get used to something new. So just keep that in mind as well. So number three is not feeling hungry. After the first 2 weeks of being on the ketogenic diet, I didn't even feel that hungry anymore. I wasn't feeling like I needed to go to the kitchen every 5 minutes and grab something, because I was fine. I just felt okay. That's one of the benefits of being on this diet, is your hunger starts to go down after a while, and you don't feel like you need to eat something all the time. And then when the time comes where you are feeling a little bit hungry, you make yourself enough to keep you satiated. That is also something that really helps with the weight loss, and I highly recommend that if you are not feeling hungry, then don't try to force yourself to eat. If you are feeling hungry, try to drink some water, give it about 10-15 minutes, and if you're still hungry, then eat something. You definitely don't want to go throughout a whole day without not really eating much, unless you're fasting. That's kind of going to mess up your metabolism if you're just eating little bits and then you just don't eat. So you definitely want to either take a day to do the fasting or intermittent fasting, which is usually like where you just don't eat within a certain period of time. About 16 hours is what I do, and then you eat within an 8-hour window. And that's also something something that's very beneficial and incorporating into the ketogenic diet. And you want to actually make sure that you're meeting your macros and you're not damaging your metabolism. Con number 3 is obsessing over your macros. This was the most frustrating thing that I had to deal with when it came to first trying to figure out what my macros were as far as the ratio between my protein intake, my fat intake, and my carbohydrate intake. It took me a really long time to figure it out because at first I just didn't know what I was doing, and I'm like, how do I know how much protein, how do I know how much carbs, and how do I know how much fats I need per day from my body type? Obsessing over macros is definitely not healthy if it stresses you out. What I do now is I figured out my macros as far as my body type, and now I can kind of plan out what I'm going to put into my macros. The Keto Carb Manager, that is an awesome app. It definitely helped me. It helps me still. All I do is just put in body weight and my carb intake, my protein intake, and it kind of gives you like a little grid of the percentages of what you're doing throughout the day. And I like to stick to certain items. I don't like to go all over the place when it comes to having whatever to eat, because if I'm just all over the place with what I'm eating, it's going to take forever for me to put all those ingredients in and try to calculate my macros for the day. So if I know I'm having a cup of spinach, 5 ounces of salmon, or a cup of almond milk, broccoli, or some chicken, or what have you, then I can log those things into my Keto Carb Manager and get those out of the way. Like, I can just log it in really quick. And if it changes throughout the day, the next day, then I could just go in and change it. But it's something easier for me to just stick to things that I know that I'm going to have on a regular basis. And you can just like plan your meals out for the week or plan your meals out for the month, and that will kind of help you kind of stay more organized instead of trying to figure out what you want to eat every single day and having to log those things in every single day. Number 4 is getting you out of a weight loss plateau. So like I said before, when I was trying all these other diets in the past, it took me 4 years to lose 40 pounds, and that was just with regular eating healthy and exercise. And that is not a bad thing. If you want to change your lifestyle and you want to improve, that's definitely not a bad way to do it. It's a very healthy way to do it. The ketogenic diet is also a very healthy way to do it, but it just gives you results faster. Within a year after having my son, I gained all that weight back, and I was back up to the weight that I was before I started trying to lose weight in the past. So after I started keto when my son was born, it only took me a year to lose twice as much weight. It definitely helped me to get out of that plateau. I was stuck for so long at like 170, 165, and finally, just after being stuck there for so long after I started keto, everything just started to melt off. So con number 4 is the keto flu. For me, when I experienced the keto flu, I experienced really bad headaches during the first couple of weeks. It wasn't like every single day, but it definitely came and went. I had headaches, I was really tired and fatigued. I felt really sluggish. So that can happen, especially when your body is trying to revert from glucose for energy to using ketones for energy. You kind of go through this keto flu kind of thing where you're just not feeling your best. But then once that passes, I had so much energy, I had so much focus, the headaches were gone, all of that. So just give it some time if you're going through that. There are things that you can look up to help with those symptoms as far as your headache, if you're feeling nauseous and things like that. Just try to supplement with some vitamins if you need vitamins. Also pink Himalayan salt if you are low on electrolytes. Put a little pinch of that in your water. That will definitely help you. So there are ways to go about it if you're experiencing this. So those are my pros and cons of being on the ketogenic diet. These are things that I had noticed during my journey. If you have any questions, just comment down below. Don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you are notified whenever I upload new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.